Hey, greetings YouTube, performance reviews. I want to follow up on the last video I made about masks and yeah, that CCP thing. If you didn't see my last video about masks, I basically explained how a lot of people were cutting up vacuum bags for some reason to make surgical masks, and surgical masks only protect other people, they don't protect you. And it would appear that from the Surgeon General, they're more worried about stopping people who are already infected than keeping new people who are infected, if that makes any sense to you. So in my last video, I basically explained, hey, go out and get a proper mask. I put in the description, and I'll put in the description of this video, all sorts of commercially available masks that a lot of people might not think to buy, even some military surplus, which are absolutely good options. Now, a lot of these are still on the US market that you can get, so I would encourage you to get one and protect yourself. Most of them will come in a week or two, from what I found. Some of them are taking a little bit longer. You could get some 3M stuff out of China. Of course, that would take a long time to get here. I also mentioned that a lot of communist surplus was available, and I want to clarify something with that. Not all of those are 40mm NATO masks. Some of them are 40mm communist fitting, for lack of a better word. So really, I'll link to another YouTuber here who explains that in great depth. But just keep in mind, know what you're buying, and don't buy or wear anything with asbestos. Now, if you're not in the United States, this video does not probably pertain to you. I'm sorry, but this is really based on somebody who's living in the United States. Let's talk about how vacuum cleaner masks started. We all know, about the thing that's happening, the pandemic. But basically, the Surgeon General told everybody to take a t-shirt and wrap it up and put it on your face, which was really bad, maybe negligible advice. I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but I wouldn't trust that with my life, and I don't think anybody else should. Plus, it looks silly. So people started cutting up vacuum bags. At first, a vacuum bag mask might seem like it's a good idea, and a lot of people suggested that. Now, vacuum bags are not necessarily all made out of the same material. Some of them are made out of similar material to proper masks, but a lot of what people are making are these surgical masks rather than a proper respirator. And you want to make a proper respirator, which maybe you could 3D print something and make it work, but that's kind of sketchy. Again, I don't think you should trust your life on something that isn't professionally designed and makes a good seal to your face, like this 3M respirator. And as of the time of recording this video, there are still plenty of proper respirators on the market, at least here in the United States. Now, of course, that could change at any minute, but I've included a date stamp, so hopefully by the time you see this, there are still plenty of these things for sale. I don't think they're going to run out anytime soon, especially the old ComBlock surplus stuff. That's just not really socially acceptable for a lot of people. Another asinine point that I saw that a lot of people put in the comments is they had never seen an army hospital, obviously, because they said, oh, you could never work in these sort of masks. Well, our soldiers have been doing it for many years, since World War I actually. So yeah, you can work in that. It's miserable, and my heart goes out to the people who do have to work in these sort of situations. A lot of people are asking, do vacuum bags contain asbestos? No, not to my knowledge, but a lot of them do contain fiberglass. Most vacuum bags are made of spun plastic, not fiberglass, as some people have indicated, but it's hard when they're made in other countries what kind of materials are put in there, so it's definitely a concern there could be other materials in some of these vacuum bags made overseas. Another item commonly found in vacuum bags, and they often say odor fighter or PET, is granulated charcoal. Now, you don't want to inhale granulated charcoal for the same reason you don't want to inhale asbestos or something like that. It's fine. It gets in your lungs and does all sorts of nasty things. I'm not going to sit here and explain that to you, but it's bad, so you don't want to do that. Now, the reason that it's okay to have this running in a vacuum, the granulated charcoal is encapsulated in the vacuum bag itself, so when you cut the vacuum bag open, you've exposed that granulated charcoal, and then it gets just kind of everywhere. Also, a lot of vacuum bags past the disposable bag have additional filtration, like a cloth outer bag, or even a final HEPA filter, something like that. So again, I'm just going to put on the screen what kind of bags not to use real quick. The most common ones, the Oric, the Kirby, the Hoover, All of those often contain granulated charcoal, and they're marked pretty clearly on the bag, but it's just something to take a look at, so please do not use these as masks. So by now you've probably reached the logical conclusion, which is, well, let's cut up a high-end manufacturer of vacuum bags and put them on our face and hope that protects us. Well, now what has happened is you've created a little bit of a shortage after you've cut these up. And worse yet, you're going to look like a boomer, and nobody wants to be this guy. This guy, you can see on the side of his mask, air is going to get in, and this really isn't doing anything to protect him but make it look like he's got a diaper on his face. And maybe if he has the virus, this will keep him from spreading it to somebody else, but it's kind of doubtful. I hope that clarifies why you don't want to cut up vacuum bags and use them as a face mask to protect against a virus, especially right now here in the USA. Now, if you're in another country, that's up to you. And with plenty of face masks still on the market, not disposable ones, but respirators still on the market, I would encourage you to get one, protect yourself and your family. Thanks for watching. Please consider a subscription to Performance Reviews and check out some of our vacuum-related happy content here.